Hello everyone. We'll just wait a couple of more minutes for everyone to gather around. If you are one of our guests, please send me a speaker request and I'll add you. And we'll start very soon, so tune in.
They say humans are social animals. They can't live alone.
All right. Hello again, and welcome to the third official Web3 Berlin Twitter Spaces. I see we don't have all of our guests on the speaker panel, so please send a request. I will send you to you as well, and we'll begin very soon. My name is Johnny, and I will be your host tonight. With me today is Hubert, our advisor and CEO of CoinBlock. Hello, Hubert.
Yeah, hello guys. It's a pleasure to host this space, and I'm looking forward to talking with you guys. Yeah, see you.
Thanks so much for being here. And yeah, we'll start in just a second. I'm sending the final requests for you guys. We have quite an amazing lineup today, and I would like to briefly say hi to all of our guests. Welcome, Ernesto from Dash. How are you? Hello, Ernesto. Can you hear me? I think we have some technical issues. Also, if I mispronounce your name or your project's name, just correct me straight away. We have Matt from Zilica. Hello, Matt.
Hey, Johnny. Thanks very much for having us on the show today.
Thanks so much for coming. And we also have Adam from IOTA. Hello, Adam.
Hey, everybody.
And Jake from VChain.
Hello, Johnny. Pleasure to be among you all today.
Pleasure is all ours. And Valerio from Ramp. Hello.
Hey, Johnny. Glad to be here.
All right. So before we jump into our discussion, I would like to take a minute and talk a little bit about Web3 Berlin. So Web3 Berlin is an event which takes place in June 10 and 11th. And the reason why we are doing this conference and the reason why we are doing this Twitter Spaces is because we believe in the power of networking and communication, especially in the Web3 space. So we wanted to create an event which is accessible to as many people as possible and also to onboard people from Web 2 to Web 3. So I'm very looking forward to the event. Much of is planned. Ernesto, I sent you the speaker, I think. Hello. Can you hear us? Ernesto, hello.
Yeah, hi guys. How are you? It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure we have you, and it's good hearing you.
Yes, thank you.
And we also have Henry from RSS3. Hello, Henry.
Hi, everyone. Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. So, finishing about Web3 Berlin, I think we'll start launching our sales tickets in Monday, if I'm correct. And stay tuned to our social media and feel free to visit our website. We have a lot of planned, but I think we can jump straight into our discussion. And like I mentioned, the reason we are doing also this Twitter space is because we want you to network with each other even way before the event. So treat these spaces not like a discussion panel when you will have like a perfect answer for our question and so on. It's just like a casual chat, just to get to know each other, to talk about Web3, to talk about events, or maybe you will have some questions for the other guests. So also feel free to ask them. We would like to start with a little introduction. So I will ask you like one by one about you, about your project, about what you're doing, and I would like to start with Ernesto from Dash, because Ernesto is also out, and you organized an event in Caracas, am I correct?
Yeah. Hey, guys. Hello, everyone. My name's Ernesto Contreras. I'm the head of partnerships and marketing at Dash Core Group. Been in the space full time since 2016. It's been a long, crazy ride, and it's amazing to see how the cycles play out. One of the key components of this space is this type of meetings, this type of conferences, because we work remote, and it's not the same when you meet people face to face and you share ideas, you see how you can cooperate with projects, and it's amazing to see that you guys are building up to that large conference that's going to be in Berlin. And just as a side note, we also I also saw that, you know, we were talking a lot about Venezuela all the time, but there were never any good large international conferences in Venezuela. So with a group of friends and crypto professionals, we organized also what we call the Caracas Blockchain Week that happened last November. And yeah, it's like you're saying, the conferences are not just about the keynotes or the stand. They're about the magic, the conversations, the deals, the friendships that you make. And I'm really happy to be here making these connections, these friendships. Thank you to all the Web3 organizers.
Thanks so much, and I couldn't agree more. We'll chat about the events and like the networking a little bit later, but I just wanted to say that from my perspective in Web3 space, I have never met like a group or people other than Web3, which was so interesting, and which I can learn from them. I learned a lot from the people I met in Web3. So I also think like the networking key and networking in real life, it's like magic, like you said. Thanks so much. And like I said, we are very pleased to have you here. I would like to go to the Matt from Zilliqa. Hello. Could you tell us a little bit more about you and your project?
Hey, Johnny. Yeah, Matt Dyer, I'm the CEO of Zilliqa. For those who are not aware on this spaces, we're a layer one blockchain that launched way back in 2019. So similar to what Ernesto was saying, we've kind of been here a long time. We've seen a lot, and we continue to do what we do. I think when we first came at inception, it was really this kind of notion about security, affordability, and being highly scalable. But a key kind of ethos that the blockchain had was trying to drive adoption. And I think very much in terms of what you're trying to do at Web3 Berlin in terms of networking and trying to accelerate people coming from Web2 into Web3, that's very much a kind of a mindset that we have. How can we drive adoption? How can we educate? How can we make things easy for people to leverage blockchain or Web3 technology as part of the workflow and drive value to everyone involved in that process? And obviously, ecosystems, communities are really important. And I think we ourselves are actually heading down to Ghana next week for another event where we're trying to kind of obviously promote some aspects about inclusivity as well. So yeah, we're fully on board with what you guys are doing, and we're really pleased to be part of this initiative.
Thanks so much. We are very happy to have you. And let's go to Valerio from Ramp.
Hi guys, GM to everyone. Yes, my name is Valerio, or Laza, as you can see, old nickname I got from my time in China. I've been personally in crypto, for a little over 2 years. with Ramp is a bit more recent, I would say, for those who are not familiar with Ramp. Ramp is an on and off ramp for crypto. We pretty much allow users to buy crypto without leaving the app, dApp or wallet. It's pretty much our focus is also on the intersection between Web 2 and Web 3. I think that it's very much of importance to support the non-Web3 natives to actually enter the space. I think leveling the field, as Matt, you were saying, right, to focus also on inclusivity and specifically on the networking effect, right? That's why we're also very much happy to be present in Berlin. Berlin is also, by the way, my second hometown in a way. So very, very happy that this is happening there. And yeah, we're stoked to be there. We also think that these type of occasion, right, that we come together in a space are super, super valuable, specifically because the crypto space is moving very fast. I think we wouldn't be able to wait on an annually event, even if it would be happening twice a year. I think feels like dog years in a way. So we're very, very happy to actually been creating an opportunity to network even before the event. So thank you again for that, Johnny.
Thanks so much, and the pleasure is all ours. I like hearing you guys. I think we share the similar vision, which is making me very happy, and I'm looking forward to chat about that more. But let's go to Adam from IOTA. Hello.
Hey everybody, I'm Adam. I work on IOTA and our staging kind of sister project, Shimmer. And I got into crypto originally on the education side, making courses and editing articles and such for a company called ZFi. And we would write articles in English and Arabic and target the lay person in the Arabic speaking world primarily. And then I ended up joining IOTA to do a lot of different things that all kind of feel like business development. So it's partner management. We run an open builders program called Touchpoint, where we take all the serious builders in the IOTA ecosystem. We try to make them as successful as possible. I work with exchanges and fiat on ramps like Ramp here, and also do a little bit of what feels like comms and media. So for instance, we used to host Twitter Spaces. Actually, the co-host I see in the audience right here, who's doing it with me. And yeah, I think that sums up my personal what I do for work. And for as far as the networks, if I don't know if you want to go ahead and go into this a little bit, I'll try to give like the 1 or 2 sentence bio. Is IOTA is this project back from envisioned back in 2015. We had this mainnet launch. You could send around data and value, but no smart contracts. And we made essentially a carbon copy of this network called Shimmer, which launched last September, and did some upgrades to it. It acts as a staging network. So as we do progressive decentralization to remove what we call the coordinator, which is kind of these training wheels or safeguards for the network. These upgrades will be pushed first to Shimmer, validated, and then pushed back over to the ecosystem, or to the IOTA mainnet. And so that is one of the things we'll be talking about in Web3 Berlin, and one of the things I've been spending all my time on. So I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, and we're also very excited to hear from you guys. So thanks so much, and very looking forward to Berlin as well. And let's go to Jake from VeChain. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well today. Jake here from VeChain. I am the communications lead over at the foundation. I also do a bit of project management and community management, stuff like that. So I'm a bit of a mixed bag. But as some of you may know, obviously VeChain's kind of been very much within that ethos of lowering barriers to adoption for quite a few years now, working more notably, I think, in the enterprise realm, but definitely moving towards, onboarding a wider array of lots of exciting tools and stuff coming up, within the next couple of months that I'm sure we'll be able to dive into as the session goes on. But yeah, I think, jumping on the back of what people have been discussing, the Web3 ethos, this need for interoperability is more apparent than ever. I mean, we've got a bunch of OG projects here. We're all kind of in the same space, still thriving. I think, it's a fantastic time and year to start coming together as regulations start to unfold and that real adoption really starts to pick up. So, I'm super excited to be part of this, part of the movement at large. And great time for blockchain and crypto. Look forward to what the year brings.
Thank you so much for your insight. And last but not least, let's go to Henry from RSS3.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Yeah. I'm from RSS3, and my role at RSS3 is basically overseeing every technical project. And talking about my story with regards to crypto, that was that dated back to 2009, and I was mining Bitcoins from my laptop. And back then, I think nobody really gave a shit about Bitcoins, and so did I. So actually, I ended up losing probably 20-ish Bitcoins I mined back then. And that was my first attempt at cryptos. And then I joined the RSS3 about 2 years ago. And for those who don't know about us, we are actually building information dissemination protocol for the entire decentralized networks, or we call it open web. And I'm not really a crypto guy, but I guess Web3 Berlin is not all about crypto. Yeah, I think we are going to have a booth there when eventually it comes in September, and we're going to focus on the data side and more technical side of the story of Web3. Yeah, and that's it.
Thank you so much. And Hubert, would you like to chat a little bit more about CoinBlock before I jump into the first question?
Yeah, I can give a short intro about us. I'm the CEO and founder of CoinBlock Capital. We are in the space since 2018. We are mainly focused on gaming, but we don't really mind what type of product you are. If you're in gaming, if you're layer 1, layer 2, infrastructure, DeFi, whatever. As long as there's like a good team and solid team, solid project behind the scenes, we're happy to invest and help them. We don't really like to invest in projects that don't have any idea, or don't have any users and infrastructure. They just want to raise funds and so on. We're very focused on Europe and on Asia, and we are a family office also. We don't have any LPs. We're not hedge fund. We're not big VC fund with a lot of LPs and so on. We have seen last year many VCs raised. Last 2 years VCs raising a lot of money, but right now in the last few months it's been very tough for them to raise from LPs because the returns are not so great. So yeah, that's it about us. Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much, and thanks so much for hosting the space with me. All right, so now we know each other a little bit, and I'm very excited to have all of these people with different experience and different vision about the Web3 and crypto space. So I wanted to start with one topic we partially covered already, but I think it's important to talk about. I wanted to talk about the events, because as we know, in the Web3 space, there are lots of events all around the world, right? I've been to few, you guys probably have been to many. And what I wanted to ask about is, what do you usually search for when you are going to an event? What's your goals when you're traveling across the world just to get to the conference or some meeting? And what's the things that has to be fulfilled, so after you return, you think to yourself, wow, that was a good event, right? I'm satisfied. What's your go-to plan if it comes to the events in the Web3 space? And feel free just to raise your hand or just jump right in.
Gonna say,
I see Jake.
we just jump in.
Yourself. So,
Yeah, no, I think
So,
I probably would be similar to a lot of the guys here, but I guess broad kind of sweep of types of attendee, right? The blockchain Web3 space is such a huge sprawling field that covers so much. It's almost like, a concept rather than a thing. So I think when you go to an event, you want a diversity of participant because you never know what might inspire you or lend to a protocol or potentially be a collaboration. So I certainly think, when you guys got to touch Heart of Europe, nice diversity of attendee, you never know what can come out of that kind of thing. And as you guys were touching on earlier, I mean, being together after having 2+ years of COVID and lockdown and remote working, I mean, it's just such a breath of fresh air, but it's also such a more powerful way to create connections. I think that's super important. So from my perspective, it's definitely diversity of attendee, if possible. I think that's a great kind of criteria to look at.
Maybe another thing that's pretty good at these events is what you're doing physically there. I think this is an important thing. So anybody here could just stream a video of what's going on at the event from their house, but they probably won't do that because people go to these events to interact with other people in the industry. So if there's things on the agenda that kind of promote some type of interaction, whether it's business deals or whether it's just people talking at lunch or something like that, these things I find really valuable. And sometimes going to these events, like I went to Singapore last year for, I can't remember the name of the event, Token 2049. But the valuable things are the things that are not happening at the actual event, but they're sitting around with other teams that have also can't come to the area. So I think if these things are still open, or if the schedule is still flexible, these are the types of things that I'd personally like to see, because I'd want to travel to Berlin to meet you and this team and everyone else kind of in the audience.
Yeah, I'll also put it this way. I think events are very good for the coffee, the beers, and the stickers. Being able to have a coffee or a beer with somebody that you met or that you haven't met and discuss ideas, get to know each other a bit more, just opens up so many doors of opportunities. I remember very fondly some friendships I made back in La VidConf in Uruguay in 2019. 4 of the guys I met there, guys and girls, for the first time, launched their startup like 3 years later, and they've gone and they've grown a lot and they've raised funds. So just being able to have that coffee, if it's in the morning, or that beer after the conversation is amazing. And to top it up, I'm guilty of wanting to get as many stickers so I can put them on my laptop later. So that's also another of the guilty pleasures I like to have at conferences.
For sure. I mean, from my side, I can add, I think, on what Adam was saying. I've received, even like from my own experience and from feedback from many friends, that the actual value at these events where, I don't want to say side events, but like events or networking dinners or things that were happening apart from the event, right? If you think about, this event is actually a really good one, is filled with panel, one after another, you're pretty much going to just take it and soak it all in, any types of information, great, right? I mean, I'll be honest, I might be able to concentrate and focus more while doing that, from my couch at home. But the value actually comes from these interactions, these networkings, these friends even that you end up making. And I think that it could be of value if events also focus a bit on that, right? Like if they gave space and time for these things to happen. I mean, you could take a very analytical approach and, for example, have, I don't know, type of stickers or badges that represent a bit not the industry you're coming from, or maybe the category of work you're involved with, or any type of data behind that color of the badge, for example. I think that makes it also interesting or valuable, right? To have an open room with a bunch of people, and if you're looking for a specific interaction, you might even have the chance to filter maybe through it and be like, look, let me just talk to somebody who's rather a developer, or I don't know, or is into a different type of industry than mine. For us, for example, it would be interesting to understand which one are maybe these Web2 companies wanting to enter Web3, or maybe are already active, right? So you could have valuable interaction, or valuable networking, right, at the event itself, right, without having to filter through that and then in a way sneak in or try to create yourself some side events, which it's what's in a way the point, right? It's like we want to get it the whole happening at the event, and not just try to bring it out. I mean, of course, it's always valuable, but I think that would be a cool thing for events to just evolve into.
Yeah, I think just from my perspective, you can go to a lot of events, and if it's just heavily crypto focus, you're kind of stuck in the echo chamber quite a lot. So I think, as some people have said, having people from the Web2 space who potentially have a different dimension and different way they look at their challenges, and how potentially some of the blockchain projects could maybe fulfill a specific gap, I think it's an important component. And I think as well, everyone obviously working in this space has typically got heads down, and sometimes you don't get the time to kind of look up, reflect, and see what else is happening in the space. So for me personally, going to these events, it's always good to see what innovation is coming from some of the other projects and kind of moving the industry forward. So yeah, I think new experiences, new outlooks, building relationships, and access to a lot of different people are probably the key things for me from these sorts of events.
Yeah, I think for me as a developer, the most important thing is the exchange of ideas when I meet new people there, and I always find this aspect of all the events fascinating, because you always get new ideas, and it is through the exchange that I get all the ways, all the inspirations on improving our products. I think that's the most important part for me personally.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Thanks so much for all your... Jake, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, no, I was just going to jump on the back of that. I actually think that I would agree with that. I mean, from personal experience, going to these events, having IRL conversations, all of a sudden, especially for someone like myself who's involved with communications, someone will present a concept to you with a different angle, and you're like, oh, wow, I hadn't actually considered that particular perspective. So, all of a sudden you gain this other way of perceiving things that you, without thinking, kind of approach a certain way, if you know what I mean. Provides another perspective. So I just think the in real life stuff has been so valuable. And for VeChain in particular, I think we did stuff a while ago, and then it's been COVID. There's been a dearth of that, but now it's all kind of opening up again, and it's certainly like this exciting kind of opportunity to get back out there into the world and reconnect with people. So yeah, cool times.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with your guys' insights. Thanks so much. And I think surrounding yourself with the people who think differently from you is also like a value added, not only in Web3 or in business, but in life overall. So I totally agree what you are guys saying. And I also think that good coffee or good beer can do miracles sometimes. So from our side, like from Web3 Berlin, we can assure you we'll provide a good coffee and good beer. So don't worry about that. And we are looking forward to some quality networking time, because it's like for me, the events, it's all about the people you meet. And I think you guys said that in each of your thoughts, that it all brings down to sharing ideas, with connecting, with just simple human to human chatting. And we've been to many events as well, and we see we talk to people a lot. So that's why we wanted to create Web3 Berlin, such a networking friendly space. So I personally, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to meet you all guys in real life also, and have that good coffee or good beer. So yeah. Let's move on to the next question. And Hubert, I will give you the mic.
Yeah, sure. Amazing. Those are really good question. The first one that Johnny asked, it was a very long answer, so as well from the crowd. So let's right now go for a bit something tougher, I would say. This question is more related to like challenges and difficulties you guys encounter every single day. So the question I have is, what, in your guys' opinion, are the things that the difficulties that you encounter with the projects in Web3? In Web3, because as we know, Web3 and Web2, they're like completely different stuff. It's something that it's something completely different, and I know that there might be like a lot of different difficulties, solutions, and so on. So just wanted to learn a bit about your guys' business and see, what are the like difficulties you guys encounter every single day. Yeah. Please let me know who is interested in speaking.
I can go first on that one if you want.
Oh,
Can you still hear me?
yeah, right now, yes. Yeah, please go ahead.
Got a bit of feedback there, which I think is probably one of the key things, is that Web3 gives so much opportunity to do so many different things. And probably the hardest thing, I would say, from my experience, is the ability to say no to different things. So you can start a project, I don't know, you might be building a DEX or a money market or a game or something like that. And then as you start the project, somebody says, oh, I've got another good idea. And then you get project creep and then nothing gets shipped. So I think from my perspective, the biggest challenge is making sure people stay 100% focused, deliver on the sprint, deliver on that outcome, and just get incremental kind of delivery on what your end goal is. And if you can do that, I think the space would be in a lot better place.
Okay, really good. I think Ernesto wanted to speak. I think Jake. Okay, Jake.
Yeah,
No, Ernesto first.
I agree. I agree with Matt. Being able to focus on a couple of concepts is key for anyone that's working in crypto, because
So there's
your
I've muted you for a second because we have some audio difficulties from your side, like scratching and so on. Can you hear us well?
Let's maybe Jake take a lead on the answer, and we can wait for Ernesto to for the better mic or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Yeah, amazing.
Sorry, Ernesto, jumped over you. But I mean, obviously, one of the difficulty of onboarding the Web2 environment is naturally partly the technical sphere, right? And of course, for those familiar with VeChain, that's something that has been a huge mission for a long time. Like, how do you break down those barriers? Things like, we have this feature called fee delegation, for example, where someone can create transactions and a third-party smart contract will handle the gas fee. So that, for example, is just a small kind of technological means of bringing the Web2 crowd, into Web3. I certainly think, the obtuse nature of blockchain development at large is obviously the biggest roadblock. That's like the elephant in the room. And I think, we obviously need to work on those kinds of technical solutions, which I don't really sound like I'm showing VeChain, but within the next couple of months, we have got something that should be pretty profound in terms of taking your traditional Web2 stack and spitting out, smart contracts through this kind of portal that's being launched, which I'm sure we'll have plenty to say about at the at Web3 Berlin. But I think, the technical issues, like the kind of obtuse nature of using crypto technology, spinning up a wallet, owning crypto assets, I mean, it's already putting off 80% of people. I think taking the blockchain out of blockchain is that key element that many kind of projects, I guess, struggle with, because how do you remove that? You want to essentially log into a web page and not think about this back-end stuff. So I think the challenge is making blockchain feel seamless. And I think that's a huge challenge, but I think that one that's getting very close to being tackled, and that will be the kind of unlocking element of real-world adoption.
Yeah. Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Much better right now. Yeah. Please go
ahead. Getting rid of these headphones. So I agree with what you guys are saying, and I think it all starts with, what's the definition of Web3? Because it means so many different things for different people. And, is it having a PFP that you can use and you call it an NFT, or is it just being able to own part of your digital identity? So that's one thing that we've seen that is not easy for non-crypto people to start understanding what is Web3 and how it benefits their brand. And something that, we've been working on for years and years, everyone here, and it's still not as good as we want, is just great, fast, frictionless on and off ramps. You still have in the US, when somebody wants to buy a little bit of crypto, they have to wait a couple of days for their transaction to come through. If you do it through a credit card, it's faster, but sometimes it's expensive. That's why, I love seeing people like Ramp building and growing more solutions, because that literally feeds and helps the whole industry. And because what we've seen with Dash is that, there's only, once you build a small ecosystem of things to do with your Internet of Money, well, you need to have good ways to come in and out of the other legacy systems so you can use them and utilize them, because you cannot be always airdropping people. That's not actually healthy growth. So once you have a compelling use case, like you guys are saying, going there and being able to change your euros, your bolivars, your dollars for whatever, so you can go and accomplish that other thing, is key. And so far, we've seen, or I've seen, a couple of great successes. For example, the NFT craze was one of them, but it's still fueled by speculation, because a lot of people wanted to buy NFTs. A lot of non-crypto people wanted to buy, for example, NFTs, because they would go up in value, just like they did with Bitcoin back in the day. So I think that mix is key, finding a right use case that people value and that will solve their problem, and then finding easy ways, or giving people easy ways to get out of their dirty fiat money.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more, and thanks for a shout out, Ernesto. We've been working hard on building one that we could call one of the best on and off ramps, specifically the global off ramp that we just launched. But I just wanted to tap on the challenges, because I think it is key to look at, I mean, what sort of say I on the enterprise level I'm fighting the most with is, of course, the hype, right? Specifically maybe around NFTs and around how much these brands has just many of these executive levels or management level has just said, look, there is this hype, NFTs, let's just do something about it. And they just jump into the hype, pretty much ruin a bit reputation of what's maybe behind it, right? In terms of just blockchain as a whole. And to fight with the brands, to just tell them, look, if we're all honest, we need Web 2 to come into Web 3, right? I mean, we want to build, we want to grow, we don't want to build products for like I'm going to say a smaller group of people, right? We want mass adoption, so we need those numbers in a way to join in, and we're here, many of us, building products to allow this to happen. But we also need brands, big brands, to have variety, like a different approach, right? There's many brands that have been a bit on the forefront, Web 2 brands, that unfortunately have taken a Web 3 approach, right? If there is a big NFT collection that starts as a collection and then builds on a product with a roadmap, could go in many different directions. They have to understand that this is a Web3 native company built by Web3 natives for Web3 natives in a way. And you as a Web2 brand cannot enter the space with the same strategy, right? I think sometimes it works, you have a success because you're a big Web2 brand. Sometimes it doesn't. And we are here to say, you're a Web2 brand, you have a Web2 community, just sort of say reward them as well, bring them into this new world in a way, and yeah, we pretty much build the product that is supposed to support in a way this intersection, right? So yeah, these are some of the challenges.
Okay, yeah, that's very good. Is there anyone that wants to talk? I think Henry right now
Yeah,
is
yeah.
too.
So, actually, I think there's a problem with Web3 because I think officially there's no like definition of what Web3 is, because at the very beginning we thought, oh, Web3 is basically blockchains, and then we are seeing like non-blockchain decentralized networks coming up, like Focaster and recently Nostr, and also we at RSS3 we noticed over the past, especially over the past like 12 months or so, during the bear market, I think the concept of Web3 has become increasingly blurred, and I think, and we also think that in the future, the concept of Web3 will evolve into something else. So today we're talking about Web3. The first thing we pops up in your mind is probably crypto, NFT, metaverse, and who knows, in 6 months that might be all different.
So maybe I can jump in. There's one thing that I feel like has kind of been hinted at, but hasn't really been said, and it's kind of one of my hobby horses for what I think the main challenge in Web3 is, and that's that most of the stuff that's built in Web3 is not useful. So it can apply or it can be useful for a niche of a speculative niche, and I don't say this pejoratively because I also like doing this stuff and owning NFTs and doing DeFi and stuff. But this is a small portion of people who want to do this stuff. So there's certain things that beyond UI UX that are really stopping people from coming into Web3, namely that there's just not enough reason for them to jump over. I think once we figure out the direction that stablecoins we're going to go in, I feel like these will be a pretty disruptive force to the way that a lot of money works today. And once things like ZK proofs and digital identities and things like that can get solved for, there will be a lot more obvious use cases for crypto and Web3 that are not feasible today yet.
Yeah, I just wanted to add an anecdote to that. So jumping back to speakers, it was kind of mentioned about, the Web2 kind of jumping in this gung-ho way and doing these very basic things. I think, from my personal experience, I've been in meetings with global brand managers and IP owners, and they've all got the same opinion, which is that essentially these are marketing stunts of very little value. But what they were very much interested in is how they can start to integrate this Web3 concept into their business models, essentially, like incentivized ecosystems, for example, where multiple participants can leverage data that's running through a blockchain, hashed and trustlessly secured, everyone can view, and multiple parties kind of building these ecosystems where one actor does one thing and there's a token generated of value for another service. I think this is the kind of way that Web3 is gonna, the Web3 concept is gonna leak into society. It's by creating this kind of decentralized ecosystems of participants, and I think that's very much within the Web3 ethos. Like the previous speaker's right, Web3 of course is not a set in stone thing. I see it as more of a concept, and it's about this decentralization away from just a centralized, organizing figure. And yeah, I think incentivized ecosystems are going to be one of the key tools to take Web3 approach mainstream. That's multiple participants generating value from their data that can be used or spent elsewhere. I mean, that's something that I've seen personally that is really resonating with brand owners and on a company levels. I think, certainly one to watch.
Okay, that's very good. I think we are good to go. The next question was, very helpful, and let's start another question with Johnny.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys, for your insights. We all know the Web3 space is changing very quickly and dynamically, and we have a lot of obstacles and challenges ahead of us. So it's very also interesting to hear from your guys' perspective. We talked about a little bit about the past, about the events. We talked about the present. So I wanted to ask you the next question about the future. So I'm really curious, what is like your next steps and your plans for you and your projects for this year, right? Because previous year was pretty crazy, and I think we can all agree on it. It was quite alright, and 2023 has, I think, a lot of expectations if it comes to the Web3 space. We see a lot of new things coming up every day, new trends, new technologies, and so on. And I wanted you to tell us a little bit more about your project plans and your individual plans as well.
Sure, I'll jump in. One thing I didn't mention with Shimmer that I realized as soon as I turned off the mic is the whole point of us making this carbon copy of the IOTA network and have the staging environment. One of the main reasons of doing it is to develop smart contracts on IOTA. So we have this like underlying DAG structure, this directed acyclic graph, which is kind of the trend these days, apparently. And you can anchor blockchains into them. And so essentially now you get an execution layer and a logic layer, and you can run smart contracts. This is currently in a test net. The main net will be coming out or the Shimmer EVM, as we call it, will be coming out in the next, 2 months, something like that. And so now you get our community, much of whom had been with us since 2015, 16, 17, and they are going to essentially experience what smart contracts are going to be like, either for the first time or just the first time on IOTA. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to do. We already have like 40, 50 projects building on this. Maybe 20 of them are going to launch when the network launches. So that's really exciting. And then the other thing is getting out the MVP for, excuse the jargon, but we call it core decide. So this progressive decentralization of IOTA into this kind of ultimate decentralized future that we kind of envision and want to build. So we'll know a little bit more about that as the year goes on. There's two other things. One of them is doing road shows, like going to Web3 Berlin, or expanding our audience a little bit more into maybe somewhere like Asia or Abu Dhabi or stuff like that. So this is something we have on our horizon. Some of it's more solid than others, but all of which makes me really excited for the direction we're going.
Thanks so much, Adam. And I just wanted to jump in and say, you've got the correct answer. The answer was Web3 Berlin in the future.
I thought you'd like that.
Yeah, but thanks so much. And let's hear from the rest of you.
Yeah. I wanted to, I'll be as quick as possible. Before saying what the future brings, just many of you mentioned that you've been in this space since 2017, some even 2015. Just try to remember those 2018 days, the things that existed and the things that did not. Like, we didn't have so much access to the NFTs, of course, all the NFT utility. There was not so much DeFi. You couldn't get loans off of your crypto. So now just fast forward to 2 years and imagine all the things that we will have based or built upon or with the learnings of what we have today. It's just freaking exciting. From the side of Dash, we're announcing this year our very anticipated evolution platform. This will allow to store data on the Dash blockchain with the Dash speed and low cost. So we feel this is going to open up a lot of possibilities for the Dash ecosystem and for other projects as well that want to leverage data storing and all the capabilities it allows. And one feature that I'm really, really excited is that this will have a decentralized SDK. So, a decentralized API. And that's going to allow for people to connect to the blockchain in in a very decentralized manner, which will enable more decentralization and less blocking and less censorship, which is what we're all striving for. So the future is bright, and I'm very excited.
I can jump on that straight from what Ernesto said, and also Adam regarding the events. I mean, for Ramp, we've been working hard on our on-ramp product for a while now, and launched recently the off-ramp, which is global, right? Support over 130 countries. We start with 38 assets right from the start. We're adding more throughout the year, so we're very excited about that. We have fast payouts, real-time payouts. Again, it's a global product with a variety of different rails depending on the country. And what's important to us is specifically based on Web3 Berlin, is to actually also be more present, right? Right, and having oh, no worries, having all the right licenses, right? But we haven't been maybe so outgoing and haven't been talking too much about us, and this is actually something that we're trying to change. Specifically, looking forward to what we all, in a way, maybe hope for, mass adoption. So we're looking, to target these enterprise companies. There's many we are in discussion already, but we just want to be out there. We just want to be in more conversation. We want to know what similar to this panel, so what you guys are building. How can we build something together, right? What you, Johnny, mentioned before, right? The whole game here and goal is to use this network to be like, oh, it's not like this is something I could also build or I could go into building. No, you have a partner, you have a network, you have somebody who's been working on it for many years. They're the expert. Just work with them together, build, utilize this network, and go catch some big fish in a way, right?
I'll jump in next then. I think from my perspective, short term, we've got this gaming hub that's coming to market. So Laza, we're meant to be enabling Ramp. So hopefully by the end of this month, we'll have that enabled. So there's a win there for us. I think, as Ernesto says, I can guarantee it's probably going to be a fun, exciting, and I don't think anybody could tell you exactly what's going to happen in the future, but we know it's going to be different. From a Zilliqa standpoint, there's quite a lot happening. We've obviously been around for a while now, but we have never been an EVM chain, which we're going to be by the end of this quarter. We're going to be enabling things like liquid staking, money market protocols, which is going to be exciting for driving a lot more TVL on chain. And I think more importantly is trying to support and build more applications that end users can use in a seamless, frictionless way, so that for everyone on this call, which obviously has to be a key ambition for everyone, is driving new users into the space. I think we've got a kind of a mandate and a need to make this open to everyone. Otherwise, we're going to be just continue to talk to the echo chamber. But I think with what everyone's building and thinking and talking about, I do think we're in a good place. So yeah.
Yeah, I think there's another thing we need to pay attention to is, as the word echo chamber has been, mentioned so many times. A lot of public blockchains are built. They were built for special purpose, such as for social only or for gaming only, and then some for trading. And what we do at RSS3 is actually we bridge all of those blockchains together. So we make sure developers, they have the direct access to all the blockchains in one go. So, regardless of what the blockchain was built for. And also, we also noticed that, for decentralized networks, that means it's not on blockchain. For decentralized networks, they often have their own circles. So they've often focused on very specific topics, and people, like-minded people, they come together and join this one, and for something else they discuss it on discuss somewhere else. And I think that's going to be the problem in the future as well, because we couldn't find a platform that's built for everyone. That's virtually impossible.
last but not least, hey everyone. So yeah, I mean, VeChain's kind of, we've got a bunch of stuff going on at the moment. It's quite an exciting time. We're actually in the throes of the steering committee elections, so we're reshuffling the foundation governance structure. So that's been a community vote. So that's just something fun, kind of getting out, getting a new bunch of people at the top of governance in there. So that's great. In terms of immediate term roadmap stuff, we're actually launching a new official wallet Monday or Tuesday. So we have the 3 official wallets. They're all good in their own ways, but we essentially decided they need to be combined into one beast. So launching a web wallet as the first iteration, and then there's going to be mobile desktop to follow. But essentially, it's like a kind of MetaMask for VeChain that's going to have cross-chain compatibility built into it eventually. A bunch of cool features released recently, fiat on and off ramp straight through the wallet, carbon calculator, some very cool stuff. What some of you may be aware of is VeChain's kind of very much focused on sustainability at the moment. I mean, not at the moment, it's always been doing that since 2018. But of course, as the world transitions, and that becomes almost more mandated, VeChain's kind of seizing the day there and pushing ahead with the tools and technologies already built. So in around a month or so's time, we're actually going to be launching this thing called Vorge. And this is very on topic, I think, because it's a toolkit that essentially allows a Web2 company to come along, take their Web2 stack, run it through this application, and it will spit out the smart contracts and outputs they need. And I can actually see in the crowd, we've got someone who's been battle testing it, and I know a bunch of community have. So, shout out UCO Network. But, we kind of joke and call it Web 2.5, right? Because it's people taking their first step. So VeChain's mission has always been about onboarding the real world as seamlessly as possible. And this Vorge platform that's about to come out is pretty groundbreaking, in my opinion. I mean, you could say I'm biased, but in terms of the ease of onboarding for the real world companies, of all scales and users, small scale users, whatever, pretty exciting stuff. So very interested to see how that impacts the kind of Web 2, Web 3 landscape this year and beyond. And then looking a little further ahead, we've got an event coming up of our own called The Hive. That's taking place in Las Vegas on March 4th. And again, it's a sustainability themed event where we'll be launching a pretty exciting new initiative with a top global management consultant. And it's actually drawing on the content I mentioned earlier, which is this incentivized ecosystem. So, we all understand that sustainability is a threat. But how do you incentivize people to take part and be proactive without there being some benefit for them, right? It's human psychology that people need nudges or incentives or reasons to behave a certain way. So we're moving towards an environment where blockchain can provide a kind of backbone where, you can perform actions, your data is recorded, that can be turned into value by smart contracts. Obviously, you need certification bodies behind that, overseeing the processes behind it. But yeah, in essence, you can be rewarded for positive environmental behavior. So that's something pretty big that's going to be coming out in March. And this is a kind of go-to-market ready product. So I think, again, pretty groundbreaking in terms of the Web 2 to Web 3 transition, because the world is on the cusp of embracing en masse. But of course, Web 2.5 is the first step, as we like to jokingly call it. And if anyone's interested, we've got 2 Nobel laureates. If anyone's interested in nanomaterials, don't want to go too scientific, but using graphene for carbon capture and storage, tokenizing the outputs with VeChain. I mean, it's really exciting stuff. Blockchain is really starting to show its value outside of the traditionally perceived ways. Real world companies are coming in, recognizing the value. And the Web3 ethos is where it's heading. Outside the pillars of some central structure dictating what happens, many participants creating value together that can be shared and utilized within an ecosystem. I mean, I think it's fascinating. I've been in crypto for many years and I've loved watching the evolution of all this stuff. So that's a short-term roadmap for VeChain. Of course, we will be at Web3 Berlin, and our speaker there will have a lot more to tell on the sustainability front, because that will all be published at that point. So yeah, if anyone's interested, March 4th, free tickets, thehivesummit.org. You can join in person, join online, totally free, up to you. But yeah, there's my plug.
Thanks so much, Jake, and thanks so much for your patience, because you tried to speak for all this the beginning, but I'm last but not least. Very well said. Well, the future is looking bright. Like hearing you guys, I think we can all agree that the Web3 space is so dynamic and everybody is so hardworking and focused on building, which is amazing because everyone, I believe, is bringing something new to the space and something from the different side, and the whole space is evolving and building. And I'm personally very excited and looking forward to what will happen in the next couple of months and don't mention couple of years. So I think we should all be excited about the future and continue to build and network with each other, I think. I would like to take a second just to give also a shout out to our founder, Matt Wodnicki, which you guys probably know because he was talking to you. And he's on a plane right now. So I had to, send the message to you that he wishes he could be on the spaces. He will be on the next one, but he's on the plane right now. But the things that he built and the things that onboarded me on the Web3 Berlin personally is amazing. So shout out to Matt as well. And we are getting close to an hour right now, but I wanted to ask you guys, not maybe ask, but suggest if you have any questions to each other, right? If you want to learn something more or just to, I don't know, set up a date for this amazing beer in Berlin already. Just if you have some maybe final thoughts or questions to our other guests, and so feel free just to speak.
I would be really excited to meet all of y'all in person and take you up on that beer in Berlin. I'll spare the questions until then, though.
Yeah, same here. I have to go. I have another call. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, guys. Much love. Take care. See you soon.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we can call it a wrap. Thanks so much. And it was also a pleasure to talking to you. Thank you, Ernesto. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Valerio. Thank you, Adam, Henry, and Jake. And thank you, Hubert, for co-hosting this with me. And looking forward to Berlin. Yeah. Also, feel free to be invited to our next spaces because we are doing it right now twice a week. Maybe we'll do it 3 times a week. We'll see. Just to keep on eyes on our social media. And thank you for this amazing conversation. It was very, very honored. I'm very honored to meet you all, and we will see you in June in person.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Awesome.
See you there.
Bye, everyone. Have a good day.
Cheers, guys.
See you. Bye bye.